Welcome to episode 199. 199 of the Corey Shepherd podcast. Since episode 0, I've been planning this out. All the weeks I miss, all the time off I take, I've been planning it out. Or little did you know that I was planning to ensure that episode 200 lands smack dab in the middle of Calypso History Month. You don't find it fitting that Calypso History Month is the month we hit our 200 episodes? Well, I'm not talk too fast. Let me deal with 199 first. Now, all you going, how everybody been? How was all the week? All the week was good. Everybody having a good time, productive. We in 1010. All they went Charlotte Street and support. All they all go to Chinatown. You buy anything in Chinatown, it's 1010. This is lucky times, when it's 1010. The Chinese population, what do you call it? Like if you say Afro-Trinidadians, can you say like Chino-Trinidadian? You can't say Chinese, right? Trinidadians of Chinese descent supposed to be having a time around 1010. And we're supposed to join in that, right? And make sure that we in the source. But how are you going? I want to tell all before I jump into the issues of the day, right? Before I jump into the issues of this week. Yeah, I tell all we move and, big changes in life. And I realize with big changes, your routine is how to change. It's a little Neola, right? Neola is always telling me, life is seasons and so on, right? I learn a lot from the therapist, right? It's a little Neola's that one. And just tell me, life is about seasons and its changes. I don't realize that in this season and in these changes we've been facing and trying to find new routines, the household led by me, right? Because in the famous words of the Imam, Yassin Abu Bakr, the late great, I run my house. I don't run around my house, right? But I run my house into the ground. Because I've been getting very, very pudgy in the center. I eating late in the night. I like a biscuit, I eating all kind of biscuit, sweet biscuit late in the night. And I started, when I see the scale the other day, I said, nah, boy, thing had to change. So to the household, we eating cleaner. We losing the little weight and thing, trying to get back in a gear. We're trying to get back into wedding dress and wedding suit kind of shape, Everybody, all three of we're trying to get back there. If I could join me on the fitness journey, and I know as we join the fitness journey and we work on it together. In this podcast, there have a lot of very influential listeners and 1%ers and so on. And I would also like to just ask around, right? If by chance anybody have the link for Ozempic, well, let's send it to me now. Because between Palace Stacy Trainer and China, they're trying to kill we. Pain! It's pain! With my wife and this keep it man. I in a jam. Oh Lord, put a hand. With my wife and this keep it man. I in a jam. The woman have no time for all wrong love. Every day she finds me so bad. And when I ask her what she was doing, and it's practicing. I didn't mind she taking exercise. She could have do it otherwise. I ain't mind she building condition, but not this funny position. We let them long. Touch your toe, so go down low, turn around, spin around, lie down on the ground. I don't like it. Watch yourself or you keep it fit. I didn't know. No. I didn't know that is so my wife have to go. champagne.
Both of us just make the savannah, but that call for the stamina. And when you see me read like you are see, everything comes simultaneously. I didn't mind she taking exercise, she coulda do it otherwise. I ain't mind she feeling condition, but not this funny position. When it's bend down, touch your toe, so go down low, turn round, spin around, then lie down on the ground. I don't like it. Watch yourself how you keep it.
If you don't know All Wrong, that gets to know him, right? If you don't know All Wrong, though, All Wrong, there's people to know, you know. Listen, I know time, you know, and this is a short episode, but it has certain things this call for other things, but I'm less sorry, bear with me, and listen. Particularly because the opening topic I see in front of me here is man dressing up and playing police and kidnapping and murdering businessmen. I just need to put myself in a mood before I get into them kind of topic, you know, and nobody better to put you in a mood than the great All Wrong there, you know what I mean?
But from me, don't tell your nation, Jimmy Swagger is an innocent man. You never touch me, conquer long. You only watch me, conquer long. Begging the Lord, please forgive her. All how I turn and yearn and moan and groan. But you touch me, conquer long. And when I ask him why, Jimmy started to cry, 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 cry.
Begging the Lord, please forgive her. Moan and groan and moan and touch it, conquer. And when you ask him why, Jimmy started to cry. Hey, so here what? Let me get into this one time, right? Because it is very worrying. I have plenty things on the culture end to talk about, and I will end with sports, right? But it is very, very worrying for me. Very, very worrying for me when I see articles like these. And it would be remiss of me not to start with these things because we went through a week or two where we see some of the most heinous and evil versions of domestic violence and domestic situations, right? I don't want to talk about them in too much depth. If you're following the news, you know about them, right? But husbands getting themselves together and dealing with things in a way that I think men need help in Trinidad and Tobago, right? And we feel and we bleed for the families, the mothers and the children who are the victims of these heinous crimes. But men need help, you know. The last one I was reading there, it is something not right, you know. If you wasn't following the story, is a following one where a young, beautiful woman, young, handsome man going through this thing here, wondering what is going on. But the last one there where a woman get murdered in front of her children. And when the police reached to hold the man now, because the children managed to escape and tell her neighbor and call the police. And when the police reached, he sit down the cutlass right next to he, and telling the police, well, I know why I killed she. And it's like this. We need some interventions, you know. The interfaith services and things good. The police I feel for the police. As much as I come and I talk about police, and the first story I seen in front of me here is to deal with police, and it is a very hard job, rough thing to be a policeman, because I in a fortunate situation, first and foremost, where thankfully I not dealing with that. I never grew up in a household that deal with that. But today, when I come to record, I could watch stories like that and write it down and then decide, like, I'm not in the mood to talk about them things and I don't want to talk about it. So I'm in a fortunate position to deal with that. We must keep in mind that the police can't do that, right? When the police get a call, they're going through the same emotions and the same feeling that we feel. And the same thing where all of us who's listened to this podcast, we had a sort of a gentleman's agreement to not come and talk about the murder rate where women concerned and the heinous crimes in the country. We had a gentleman's agreement. Must be since 100 episodes ago. We say, boy, we go keep it light, we go follow the culture, we go do the news, we go learn a little thing, we go laugh together and enjoy life together, right? But it's get hard to do when you see things like these over the last few weeks. And men need help. We back to that in Trinidad and Tobago again. And maybe we probably never leave it. Whereas is situations like those. But this one in particular bothering me. Right? The headline of the Daily Express. 2 cops charged with kidnapping and murdering businessman. Before I get into this, right? I see a video going around the other day with a situation where somebody was, I can't remember if it's murder or kidnapping or any of them things. And even talking about these things, you say these things so casually. Even when I saying it. You're saying it in past like murder or kidnapping, like it's a real person with a real family who dealing with these things, But you see where 2 men come out and mark police car with lights, and that is who committing crime. And the response is that the police was just giving them a drop. So when you see it, you're wondering, well, if the police so involved in crime that they're dropping off criminal in different places, but you say, nah, that's just some random people that they was given a drop and they happen to go and commit a crime. So the listen, I go into the police impersonation thing, right? Because I'm worrying, but again, from the Newsday, police helpful cop give gunman drop in Siparia. Police have responded to the viral video on social media in which 2 men were seen getting out of a marked police vehicle nearby in Siparia before crossing the road with what appeared to be guns and heading into Kura Road, Siparia. A police statement on October 8 said an immediate and comprehensive investigation has been launched. The preliminary investigation revealed the Siparia CID got information about 2 armed men on High Street, Siparia on June 27th. 2 men, 18 and 27, were arrested and taken to Siparia CID for inquiries. Police said the investigations revealed the 2 were dropped off earlier by a marked police vehicle attached to the Criminal Records Office in Siparia. The 2 men confirmed this. Immediately upon confrontation of this development, a further immediately upon confirmation of this development, a further investigation was conducted involving the officer who transported the 2 suspects. The officer provided a detailed report of the incident. Investigations have revealed that the officer was not involved in any collusion or any criminal activity, and his actions were indeed in good faith, assisting what appeared to be 2 stranded individuals. So the police officer basically say, listen, I get 2 men a drop. I living in town, right? Me living in Siparia, so I don't know how things is run in Siparia, but I don't know. I born and grew in St. James. I don't know police to be like Samaritans that just offer people a drop or they're stranded and they drop people somewhere. But if the men say they conduct the investigation and that is what they come up with, that is what they come up with. What I could tell you is when you look at the video, it could be scary for anybody to see something like that where the people who you think going to protect and serve you, serving themselves and the people who ought to harm you. Fast forward to today, right? 2 cops charged with kidnapping and murdering businessman. 2 police officers have made their appearances in court, being charged for the murder of central businessman Machel Kunjbihari, or something very close to Kunjbihari. My apologies. The officers, acting CPL Ashraf Mohammed, 45 of Chin Road's Kunupia, and Jason Dan Michael, 34 of Charlieville, appeared virtually before Master Margaret Sukraj Goswami on Friday, charged with the capital offense. You could get charged with murder and appear virtually from the jail or virtually from home. They are also accused of misbehaving in public office when they, along with another person, allegedly kidnapped Kunjbihari, a 32-year-old used car salesman, and demanded a ransom for his release. The murder was alleged to have taken place sometime between September 24th and October 4th. Kunchbiari's body was found in the London Villa area on October 3rd after his kidnappers made and received a $500,000 ransom demand. Upon their appearance, the officers, who were represented by attorneys Shiva Budu and Roshni Balkaran, were not called upon to plead as the charges were laid indictably. If it laid indictably, the virtual is from jail. They were charged by acting PSB Bureau, questioning the master. Once the outstanding statements are obtained within the next week or two, the file will be forwarded to the office of the DPP, he stated. Prior to the matter being adjourned, Budu said he wished to raise 2 issues he was hoping to get clarity on. So, lawyer talk, right? And why is this happening in court? Moral of the story is this. The story came out about this kidnapping, and you were seeing this, it seems to be that we're in another phase of kidnapping. Somehow kidnapping in the country, like, it's come and go. Like, it's come in spurts. Maybe I should just give credit to the police for any time it rise up, the police deal with it. Maybe I should do that. But when you hear police getting charged with this kind of thing, it's very, very worrying. Because I remember the earliest I know about kidnapping was I want to say, is it Sabgo? There was somebody in one of the Syrian family names, popular Syrian family names, or Lebanese or Syrian, I suppose, who was kidnapped many years ago. And that after that, you see several kidnappings going on. And then we all remember the case with Vindra Naipal when that was happening. If we remember Vindra. But you must remember, around that time, there was several kidnappings, and it was the same thing. Like, we were going through a phase where kidnapping was the in thing. We seem to be going through another state like that, where a lot of people, you find it in the news every week or every couple weeks, you're hearing about people being kidnapped. Kidnap is one of the more worrying types of crimes, because now you're wondering, I suppose he's a used car salesman, so you could find out about or assume that he have money. But even in some of the reports we read over the last few weeks, it seems as though people asking for specific amounts that they know they could get paid. In this case, the man, 32 years old, still end up dead. But God bless him, and prayers and condolences to his family. But kidnapping is a kind of complicated type of crime, It's not somebody who's snatching and grab something or the thief in car, It's a complicated thing to get done, because if you're kidnapping for ransom, you might want to be pretty sure before you take out a move, like how much money the person have and how much, not just how much they're worth, like, because how much you're worth could be determined by the car you're driving and the house you have and the different assets or investments you have. What you're trying to find out is how much cash the person or the family have access to. Which begs the question, like, okay, the banks who came out the other day and say, well, hey, all people not involved in this kind of thing, but where people finding out what kind of cash people have access to in the bank, or where people finding out what kind of cash people have access to in their houses. If I had a running theme or a true line in this podcast, every time I talk about society or development or economics, I always talk about the fact that we need more business people. We need more entrepreneurs. We need more innovation. Oil and gas price high, we are none. We are none till about 2027 from what they say. Guyana laughing at we hard times until 2027. You need to find more and more people who are willing to risk capital, go up and put it up. And whether it's a used car business, when I say simple business, right? Used car business is not developing Facebook or developing a used car business probably not going to change the world. But what it will do is change communities. Because this youth, 32, think of what you was doing at 32. Or what you plan to be doing at 32. 32 is really young. 32 is really young to be running a business and, dealing with Japan or Korea or whoever sending coffee or anything and get cars. That's a young age to do that. These things we should applaud. We should be happy to see young people involved in business. Now, I will say that there are a few things that go along with youth too, right? Because, like I tell you, the first piece of money I get, it was very, very hard for me not to go by Antons and spend all. Salute to Anton. As a matter of fact, let me scratch that. Right now, it is very difficult for me not to take my money and go by Anton and get something shining. I don't know if it's just how we grew up. I find like something should be shiny. Don't be surprised if you show up one day here and you have to put on shades to watch your screen, because I want a little something shiny, and I want a shirt to open out too where I could hang my thing shiny. You know what I mean? But the picture that they have of the victim here. He has some little zestin chain and some little zestin ring and them kind of thing, right? I've been accused many times on this podcast of being naive and talking about young people in a way. Like, everybody was telling me in the beginning when I was celebrating Marcos, there's like, Corey, Marcos is clearly a scammer, right? It's like, boy, why the man couldn't do his digital marketing thing and make money? All right, I was wrong about that. So you never know what somebody involved in or where their background is. The point I'm making is this. If we have a society that have plenty 32-year-old businessmen, which means they start business from since before and we're going to start to see a different society. Government not going to save this society. We have to save it. We as the individuals. When we create opportunities in our communities for more and more people to get jobs, and not just get the getting of the job, right? Let me talk about that a little bit. When you like, there's a master's program and it have entrepreneurship as a course, or what you used to call innovation and entrepreneurship, or something like that was the name of the course. It talks about employment, right? Employment is an important part of entrepreneurship, yes. And that is changing now with automation. But employment is not just about you hire somebody and now that person could make a little 10,000 a month or you making whatever it is. And it's not just that. The money that person make a month will be invested in his family and reinvested in the community, because he need a plumber, he need a mason, the money is be spent right in the community. Even some of the money will leave the community and go to courts and super farm and so on, right? But for large part, it will impact taxi drivers, anybody. In other words, there's a knock-on effect to everybody that you employ. But in economics, it's all about thing named externalities, right? Which is not the obvious things that you could see, is things like, call it side effects, right? One of the things about entrepreneurship and employment is this. I remember being in St. James. And St. James is a place I value for the entrepreneurial spirit of people in St. James. And remember, my experience is growing up in St. James. So your experience growing up, where you're growing up, is probably the same. But St. James is a place where people had businesses. Businesses was a common thing. It was a common thing. Larry fixing TV and Barbara and them, they sell electronics. Owen start a plumbing place, you know what I mean? Boss have pet shop, Ali have pet shop, the whole main road. Dennis and them have a bar, St. James is a place you used to see a lot of entrepreneurship. Men learn a skill and they make it into some. Even Andy and Copper and men who just say street side mechanic is a form of business. Them teach somebody it. So one of the externalities that we don't pay attention to sometimes, or that we should pay attention to, is that beyond just giving somebody a job and they get paid every month and thing, what you're really doing is like teaching people how to fish rather than you give them a fish. You ever read that? You read that somewhere before? When you teach people to fish, long after you dead and gone and you close your eye, that person might be able to find an income for themselves, possibly by remaining employed, but also by taking a chance and starting their own business and helping other people to learn to fish too. It is one of the things that entrepreneurship is one of the ways that entrepreneurship benefits a society. Another side effect or another externality is the pride that somebody might take when they learn to fix a car and they try something and it work and they do. All these is the kind of things that we need to shift the minds of the youths from crime. It's important. It's important. They really budget the other day. I think Ministry of National Security was second or third on the list of the highest budget that we have. Just think of it like this, right? Taxpayers' dollars, 25%. How much money out of your salaries go to tax? 25 or 30% or whatever it is. And then if you're running a business, another 25% if you make any profit. And it's a lot of money that we put aside collectively to run a society, right? Think of it home by you. For you to build a house now, you would be foolish not to put burglar proof in, right? You know all your money, so all you put the fancy burglar proof in and nice work by what the people name by QPSL and we put a fancy big steel door, and you know what I mean? Or all you like PVC and them thing UV rated but you're gonna burglar proof your place. Most of us on top of burglar proof in the place, you're gonna get some dog. Not my kind of dog, right? Dog to protect the place. You might put some spikes around your wall so that people don't jump in. You might get camera system to make sure your wife ain't bringing them. To make sure thief and so on. You might do these things. Alarm. You might pay and get a rapid response and people to come home by you. Think of this, right? If you were living in somewhere safe where you didn't have to do all them things, all that money we now call that going, they might still have a little dog, right? We like dogs. But all the other things that you would not have had to pay for or feel pressured to burglar-proof your house, which is a cost, to alarm and pay somebody every month for what you call it thing now, patrol, or you would not have to pay the amount of money you're paying now to go in a gated community and pay X amount of money on top of that so that you have a security in front by you to open gate and close gate and you would not have paid all that money. More of your money could have go toward whatever else you're interested in, your children education, your travel. More of that could have gone towards that. That's the micro situation, individuals, right? Think of the macro situation now. If you're living in a safe society, more of our money in the budget could go towards things like healthcare, preventative healthcare too, right? Not the reactive part, because we healthcare properly reactive. All we healthcare thing is going to hospital and this and that and MRI more reactive like hell, right? More of our money could go towards social programs, helping people who care, more to education, because I read something this week where the one of the recipients of the Order of Trinidad and Tobago was calling for us to move further towards digitization and automation and so on. That is an important call. I like what I see in Fatima so far with Zachary and them, where all the boards is Google Classroom, the homework coming to them on their phone, they have an email they're sending out, and that's still way behind where what you would really call an automated or a society that up to date with technology or education system that up to date with technology. We might be able to take that national security budget and spend more of it on things that could benefit us and have intrinsic reward where people could feel good about themselves and get careers and grow. But we in this constant thing where it's like the budget and the plan. When you talk about the planning and I always talk about the purpose of leadership to be inspiring, where the leader, whether it's the country, your household like me, or your business, or whatever you're leading, one of your key jobs is to inspire. You inspire. You're working through others, right? You're supporting others and working through others. I feel is what leadership is. So if it is, our role is to inspire. One of the things we should be looking at all times is how do we get youths to value their lives, value their community, feel good about their spaces, talk with pride about where they come from and the things that they do and the things they achieve. And again, one of the ways to do this is through entrepreneurship. So when I see a month pass and I had to spend 15-20 minutes in one episode talking about extorting business people and doubles men had to go and live somewhere else, and then in another episode I had to talk 15-20 minutes about the police, who's part of the national security budget. In other words, it's part of my 25% that could be used for something else more uplifting or more fulfilling or more long-term in nature. Long-term rewards and long-term goals, we could be using that for that. We using that to pay police who taking their 10, 15, whatever they make, and deciding that with that money that they make up on top of the state resources like police car and so on, they're using it to execute crimes. The things that they dare to prevent, they participated in. I find it to be very worrying. I find it to be very disturbing. And I feel as though, we're going to talk about politicians next time, right? Because I feel the same way about them. But I feel as if holding people to a higher standard should also mean that the repercussions or the consequences of what you do should be greater than what the average man does. In other words, if the average man found committing a crime and the punishment is X, if a police is found committing a crime, the punishment should be X plus 1, and it must be known up front. It should be known. Me don't like the jail thing, But whatever that punishment is, it should be X plus 1. It can't be that the temptation is there for the police to join up with the people who we trying to be protected against these types of things, you know. Let me ask you a question, right? Let me ask you a question. When you see a roadblock or you see police coming behind you in traffic and the siren on, I just want to ask a general question. Because I know the answer to the question for myself, but I want to understand from people to see if I paranoid or I'm mad. Or when you late in the night, you look out your window and you see police blue lights flashing somewhere. I want to ask you something. Do you feel safer?
Within every system, there are rules and laws, and those who enforce them obviously cause love in the hierarchy is non-significant. So we find it necessary and highly important to gather our civil rights and surround this world with a few bewildered knights who have full control. If it is we fear to trust and guardians be to protect us, question for the bards. What the God is that? The armies, navies and air forces, the KGBs and the petty forces, CIAs and Scotland Yards. What the God is that? The chiefs of security must be in a quandary. This question is the hardest of hearts. What the God is that?
This is Caribbean Vibes.
What a shocking factor to read in the news about one commander who could light the fuse. Oh, push the red button on a computer. That's the cause of chain reaction and damage the future. Using our treasuries, we have made them strong, creating authorities as we go along. Knowing power develops and absolute power corrupts. Question for the lads, what a God is that? The royalties and the governments, the many houses of parliaments, the castle of the cards. What a God is God? Question for the fanatics, advocating politics in the face of failing standards. What a God is God?
This is Caribbean Vibes.
Guardians of the cities, guardians of the air, guardians over land and seas, here and everywhere. Just like the steady beat of a metronome, we have become quite obsessed with the militant syndrome. To attain dependencies, we have conjured up a chain of ascendancies, reaching a little. If it is this whole charade, depends upon rank and grade. Question for the lads, what a God is that? Administrators of state defense, the many heads of intelligence, the espionage Galahads. What a God is that? Shall it be the gorillas, the religious ministers, or the professors from Harvard? What a God is that?
Man said the professors from Harvard, like if it's Harvard's cricket club, you know, I like it a lot. I like it a lot. But listen, when it has certain things you must do, right? It's Calypso History Month. Don't ever forget why it is we here, right? It's still Calypso History Month. I mean, it's always Calypso History Month. And if you're playing King Austin, you have to play King Austin, right?
Today, when I I look around in the world, what do I see? I see footprints that man have left on the sand while walking through times. I see fruits of our ambitions, figments of our imaginations, and I ask myself, when will it end? When will it end? It is plain to see, universally this land is not bountiful as it was, simply because in his quest for success, nothing stands in man's way. All rivers run dry, soon the birds will fly, the mountains will be no longer high. And when I really think of it, I just wonder why, oh why. I see charity deplored, equal rights totally ignored, wisdom and ingenuity working in accord, simply to afford such inventions as thermonuclear warfare and environmental warfare. And I wonder now, where do we go from here? Prophets everywhere gaze upon the horizon and declare that judgment will come as the savage hands of unscrupulous men defile everything pass by. Time is running out as we eat and drink, species at the brink of being extinct. And I think no one can deny that the price of progress is high, real high. I see consciousness as great as today we live recklessly. Money make egos inflate and thereby create a turbulent state. I see a struggle between the sexes, new hang-ups and old complexes. Now the question is, right in context, what shall be next? I've already seen this world have come divided between race, color, creed and class. And some of the things the scripture predict truthfully come to pass. Soil that wouldn't bear children, making children to be a part of this growing mass. And I ask, if this is progress, how long will it last?
Had to be one of the greatest calypsos ever written, right? If you're listening to anything for Calypso History Month, you're bound to hear that about 25 times, right? So, who are to guard the gods? I leave it only with that question, right? I see the boss say he done. Before I read this, right, the headline says PNM leadership up for grabs at Rowley hints retirement. I want to tell you this, right? I've had a lot to say about the Honorable Dr. Keith Rowley and so on, you know what I mean, rollers over the years. He's not my favorite person. If I had to make a ranking of the prime ministers of the country over the time, where would he land? Where would he put rollers in a ranking of prime ministers? We not too much of prime ministers, no. We had Chambers, the boss, Eric Williams, at least for everybody else, or the general consensus at the time was that he was the boss. So it's Eric Williams, Chambers, Manning, Pandey, Rollers, and Kamlas. 6. Where you playing Rowley? Give me a number now. Tell me the number in the comments where Rowley go land. It's 6 prime ministers we had. I don't know that he would I don't know if he in my top 5, you know what I mean? I'm not sure if he in my top 5 prime ministers of all time. But I want to say this. If Rowley indeed retire before this next election, if he does not go up for the election, he ranking up to my top 3. If he retire while in office, or retire and hand over to somebody. But it had to be a smooth handover. It can't be no election battle where he bad talking people and he's a bell back teacup. It had to be smooth where he say, I hereby appoint so and so as my successor, and I ask kindly, not like how they put Kamala, I ask kindly that all they vote for him, he have my full support. And then he go on his campaign trail and talk before that person. When he put Stuart Young, right? When he put Stuart Young to talk last, and then he go and he talk, and like what Obama doing for Kamala now, you know what I mean? Where you continue to let him be the head of the thing, let him make the decisions, no puppet, no pull strings. Rollers moving from outside of my top 5 prime ministers ever into my top 3 prime ministers of all time if he retire. Let me read now, let me hear what he had to say. On the eve of his 75th birthday, happy birthday, Rollers, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley gave his strongest statement on whether it would be his last year of election or electoral politics in Parliament last week. I'm now in my 10th year as Prime Minister. I too may be a swan. I don't know what I mean. I'm now in my 10th year as Prime Minister. I too may be a swan. I don't know what I mean. As long as I can leave here, having done the best for my people, best for the people of Trinidad and Tobago, it doesn't matter to me when I leave. Dr. Rowley said, referring to a similar statement by UNC MP Rushton Parry while he made his contribution. Turning to Bridget and he said George in Parliament a short while later on Friday, the PM said, it was a pleasure working with you as a parliamentary speaker. I don't know how much longer I'll have in this parliament, but I've done my duty and I kept the course. I've run the race and I look forward not for a pot of gold, but for my family at the end of this rainbow. This making me feel emotional. No? I don't know what you know. Me ain't the biggest fan of politicians, but I didn't expect to be this emotional when I reading this. If he stepped down, he in my top 2 prime ministers of all time. The reason I'm saying this is that for as much as we lick politicians and public servants sometimes, the sacrifice it takes to go up. This is rough on me. I'm having a rough time with this. The sacrifice it takes to put yourself up there and put yourself in public scrutiny for people to call in. Remember, they call Rollers the worst thing. As with any other prime minister, they call them the worst thing and say the worst things about a prime minister. So to put yourself there in an easy decision, I can't imagine doing it. And most of us who listening to this not going up for them kind of job, whether we could do it or not, whether we had the capability for it, we would rather stay in private sector and make money, or even if it's a bigger money there, we don't want it, right? So as much as I like them, I have a certain admiration for people who could put themselves up in the public space like that and have that kind of scrutiny behind every decision they make. And especially as Prime Minister, have so much consequences to every decision they make. And you have somebody who them work, what them getting paid for, there's the opposition, right? Them work is to say, you waste your time, you're doing nonsense, and you're wasting the public person, you're thieving and you're corrupt. They them work to come and say that every time. So to put yourself up there ain't easy. And I do feel better about what I was able to see from Basdeo Pandey while he lived. We never got to see it from Patrick Manning too much, right? When Patrick Manning had retired, it was nice to see he and Pandey playing some card. Yeah, King Austin say, in the people who he say, who had to guard the guards, right? He was talking about Scotland Yard and the you hear him say, the casa of the cards? That's what's for divine, right? He's inside divine. Salute to him. He said the casa of the cards. Who's to guard the casa of the cards? That's a good question. But even to see Pandey and Manning in presentation college, because they couldn't get into Fatima, in presentation college, playing some cards with one another and sharing a smile, and it good to see that where they live past the position and the job and the title, and they have a certain amount of people have some reverence for them, and they only remember the good, and the bad just come up from time to time. But when you see them all and they enjoying themselves and they're laughing, and so it's charismatic dudes in politics, you know, including Rowley. I would love to be able to see him just chill. Enjoy. I don't know, like when you're in it, you can't see like what good they could possibly say about what Rollers do over the last 10, 15 years, you know what I mean? When you're in it, it's be hard. But it's nice to see when they step aside. I would love to live to see Rollers and Kamlas just laughing and talking and knocking on a glass. This man like a Campari. They say, you know what I mean? She like a vodka. Knock a glass and take a little sip and laugh and talk. And I would love to see something like that. And I would hate to see people who have sacrificed so much for the country, and people like rollers and gamblers and so on. I would hate to see them Lego the thing. Youths go on and take it over, and the youths now bad talking them, and they're saying the worst about them after their contributions. And then as soon as they come out and they think, that's it, goodbye. We never really see or hear from them again. They're going to the upper room. I wouldn't like to see something like that. One of the things that I admire a lot about rollers is that this dude is very, very fit and strong. This man, I in the gym every day and eating one set of me. You know what this woman gave me to eat now? I opened my bowl yesterday. I say, well, this had to be oats. When I watch it, I say, like, it ain't what I say, it's quinoa or something. When I tell me it's buckwheat. It's everything she do has something to do with obia, you know. It couldn't be no other kind of wheat, but it's a buckwheat. So she bring a buck now to make wheat for me, and she don't want me to leave at all. It's like I trap. But I going in the gym and working out every day and trying to diet and think to try to look like Rowley. I half he age. I trying to look as good as he looking and be as fit and strong. When this man snappy back straight and tall and strong, I like that. I want that for my old age. So I also want that for his old age. And I like reading this and putting myself in the position of either him or being in Parliament or being Bridget and he said George to hear them words from a sitting prime minister. I find it personally that it feel good. I feel emotional. I feel a little bit sad to see him go as much as, I mean, maybe I should rescind everything I say about him over the years, but it's sad. It's sad to see him. I'm glad to see him step aside. Don't get me wrong, but moments like these is things that we must savor and cherish, in my humble opinion, right? It's not the first time Dr. Rowley has signaled that he was bowing out of the political arena. In January of this year, Dr. Rowley had planted the seed of possibly retiring from politics. During his contribution to the budget debate last Thursday, he went further and told the House, I do not have a lot more time in it. I don't want you to talk like that now, you know. Don't talk like it's the end. It might be the end of your political life, but I want to see rollers live a long, healthy, happy life long after. Bring back out Sharon, bring back out your daughters and your sons, and have a good time in this life, you know what I mean? Several names, well, we know who's the names who out there as thing, right? They don't say a rise has come before a fall. If Stuart Young is to be the next prime minister, a rise has also come after a fall, you know what I mean? A rise come after and fall harder. Even Dr. Rowley's statements have spotlighted the potential. According to the next government, there's no vacancy for the post of political leader or prime minister right now. Dr. Rowley has been hinting at an exit at the PNM's party conference held in July and August. They spell August AUGUS. He expressed confidence in the crop of young people who he had brought into the electoral fold for the party. I like it, you know. I like it. I think it's something that we must applaud. And I'm struggling to put it into words because I feel it's a emotional kind of thing when somebody give their life. You ever watch like a footballer last game or a cricketer bowling their last over? Like I was watching something this week where they have a Legends tournament. Salute to my guy Cooper. I see him take a hat-trick in the Legends tournament, bowl out Chris Gayle. That man bowl a hat-trick there and 3 balls that everybody looked very, 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 very bad. But nice to see a man have a Legends game. I like the idea that have a Legends T20 game because when you see cricketers going for their last inning and then they put up a guard of honor and they have to walk off and take, most of them is being emotional. No, you're looking at Bravo. Keep in mind that we are the age now where we were at a time we would have seen our heroes retire, the Jordans and so on, when they're going up for their last game. You will see Lara retire. We looking at people who might have been, for some of us, looking at people who older than us retire. But now you realize we in our zone now, the 40s people are talking to. We in the zone now where we seeing youth men who was young players as when we watching sports. And they coming up to the zone of retirement now, and it is usually a very sad thing to see them retire. You hope that they have a career or a fallback position for themselves or something that they could continue to do at a high level. Like for Bravo, it would be writing repetitive songs. You know what I mean? He's very good at that. But look how emotional he was in the last CPL there. And I feel like it could be something that we see and let rollers make you Swansong, man. You do your part. They go say it was good, they go say it was bad. The article went on to talk about several prime ministers who would have passed away soon after they give up the political life and them kind of things. And I just hoping for Rowla's sake that I hope we could see him and Kamala's. I know, not saying that she plans to step aside because there's nothing there saying that she gonna step aside or anything, but she should at this age and stage. You're going to see about them grandchildren and enjoy life and thing. I find it to be so old, you're coming and quarrel with this and that and making us the argument. You're supposed to live the best peaceful life. You're not really supposed to be meeting up for golf course and brunch and wherever the things are. But a Calypso History Month, right? Salute to Rowlas. He's not in the top 5 prime ministers we ever had, but this move could put him up there with one of the top guys. So I have a little tune to play for Rowlas here.
Get angry when I see somebody watch an ex-man achievement and declare that was easy. They don't see all the struggle and all the failure. They quickly form allegiance to toast the winner. But in this life there's a truth, and every tree you see have a root. And it's from way below the surface you bring up your food. Yes. Now Thomas Edison, the light bulb inventor, his 2,000 times he failed before the bulb could light. And when he reached age 67, a fire cost him 2 million. That's when the studio burned to the ground one December night. But he stood strong, faithful to his craft, and 3 weeks later released his first phonograph. You see, he had the stuff great men are made of. It's the stuff you could miss unless you look below the surface. I said he had the stuff great men are made of. It's the stuff you could miss unless you look below the surface. Okay, Shaz. They say that pressure, it does make diamonds out of rock. And it's the same with the human character. When our dreams are dumbstruck in a jail, 2 men looking out through the same bars. One will fail cause he see mud while the other sees stars. You see, while pressure humbles the meek, it strengthens who earnestly seek. It's the barometer that measures the strong and the weak. Because Martin Luther and South Africa Nelson Mandela, the darkness in their jail cell couldn't dim their lights. And civil rights advocacies only fuel more energies. For the more injustice rages, the more they fight. And for 27 years, Nelson Mandela suffered, and from jail became president of South Africa. You see, Nelson had the stuff that great men are made of. It's the stuff you could miss unless you look below the surface. Potential, I say he had the stuff that great men are made of. It's the stuff you could miss unless you look below the surface.
This is Caribbean Vibes. This is Caribbean Vibes.
Check any success story, take anyone you wish, and you'll see the road is often littered with blocks and rubbish. But as you clear one hurdle, you will meet another. And as you lift one burden, you'll hit the next gutter. You see, while your progress is slow, your determination must grow. Just affirm and confess the success you already know. Don't you know Elvis Presley was fired by Jimmy Denny? After just one show, he was told, go back and drive truck. And the great Beethoven of music, imagine he was deaf at 46, but that's when he produced his greatest musical stuff. And the great Caruso stood firm by his choice, although his teacher told him you can sing and you have no voice. But he had the stuff. Great men are made of. It's the stuff you could miss unless you look below the surface. Oh, he had the stuff. Great men are made of. It's the stuff you could miss unless you look below the surface. Yeah, Shaki. As a nation, we will do well to train our young, not to adopt a luck and chance approach or a gaming disposition, for they will dream of easy money and sweet tomorrow. From a get-rich scheme with a 1 in 100,000 ratio, we need to teach foundations of truth, trees that send down good roots, not parasites that sucks at ill-got fruits. Don't you know Basdale Pandey walked so many miles barefoot to school, land in England with $6 to take his luck horse. And after Napoleon Airman Robinson, imagine he was shot and in prison, half blind and dying. He said attack with full force. For such men with belly, leadership was meant. No wonder they're prime minister and president. You see, they had the stuff. Great men are made of. It's the stuff you could miss unless you look below the surface. I say they had the stuff. Great men are made of. It's the stuff you could miss unless you look below the surface.
It's the stuff you could miss if you look below the surface. Great Mystic Prowler, you know. Look for him, right? Look for him. I tell you, that's one of the greatest Calypsos ever written. So, how am I going to forget Robinson? Did I count 6 prime ministers and forget Robinson? So, probably top 6, you know what I mean? But again, salute to him. Talking about greatness. And listen, the importance of that song, right? And if you miss the message behind the song, right? The idea is stuff that great men are made of. And we must keep this in mind as men. We look at great men and we make Facebook comments as if what they're doing is simple or what they're doing is easy, or we could have do what they was doing, or we could have taken the pressure that they could have taken. And it's not the case, eh? I am guilty here too. I come here and talk about Fitzgerald Hines and this one, that. that is not no easy jobs, and I don't know that if somebody give me that, I gonna put myself in them positions. So the point behind this song, and that Prowler song is such a powerful song, that any great man that you see have plenty more stories to tell you about failure than he have to tell you about success. It's one of the first things I had to talk to people about in entrepreneurship class. I always use my father as an example when we talk about that in entrepreneurship, because when he first started the business, he had given me a book to read called Fired Up. And this is one of the few books that I see could somehow capture the emotional roller coaster that is a business. You know what I mean? I had to go and meet, and I sit down and trying to convince people to work with me. When me I'm sure that we could do the job, and I still my partner, so my guy couldn't. I said, couldn't. We go figure it out after, the first thing is we had to close the sale. We will figure out how we will get it done when we get the business. But sometimes you're looking confident, in a boardroom by people, and you're confident above the table, and you're telling them this, and my foot shaking like hell below the table. It's easy. Greatness, they have a reason we celebrate greatness, right? And anybody who have greatness or greatness to offer. Well, number one, they're doing it on behalf of others. Greatness is never, self. It's not doing for yourself and just making yourself wealthy and things. To be great, you really had to help plenty people. And it's not easy. Salute to Mystic Pro. It could not be said better. It's tough that great men made it to stick it through them kind of times. So if rollers stick it through them kind of times and really retire or step down while he still winning and them kind of thing, I have way more respect. He might move into my top one prime minister of all time. Talk more greatness, talk more great men. Machel Montano to receive keys to the city of Miami. Now, before I get into this, right? This has happened to me every time I have a foreign carnival. I be upset when I see all your posting, all your thing in foreign carnival. Can you do a Instagram blackout? So say, don't show me nothing from Miami carnival or no foreign carnival. It's not that I wanted to go or that I would have go if I could have go, but I doesn't like to say, maybe that's a hater, you know what I mean? Maybe I'm just a hater. I don't like it. Like all wrong, let's say, I don't like it. So they say here, Machel Montano get keys to the city of Lauderdale. Trinidad soca powerhouse Machel Montano on Friday night added another key to his set. This time he was presented with the key to the city of Lauderdale by Vice Mayor Lawrence Jabo Martin. The token of appreciation and acknowledgement was given on behalf of Martin, other Miami commissioners, and Mayor Kent Thurston for Machel's contribution to community and culture. In an exclusive interview with Caribbean Media Corporation, on the sidelines of the presentation in an exclusive interview with CMC on the sidelines of the presentation that happened during Miami Carnival 2024 Panorama Competition at Carnival Village North, Central Broward Park. That was a lot. Martin explained why Montano was chosen. I could have just skipped that whole sentence. We always recognize talent. We recognize special people that give back to the community. And in this case, he's given so much. His music, it brings people together. It's a happy sound. It's a good sound. It's a party style. And it embraces everything we talk about. We talk Caribbean culture, he said. Asked about the impact that the carnival has on the community financially, Martin said, I don't have specific numbers because remember, they were out of commission for a couple of years because of COVID. So it's really only the second year back, and they're saying bigger and better than it was last year. And last year was phenomenal. So we are still looking to see what happens. However, he stressed that beyond the monetary value, the unity and togetherness that the Miami Broward One Carnival Host Committee is able to bring about annually is even more precious. Anytime we can bring communities together, that's what it's really about. The economic impact takes care of itself. It's no first world country, right? These guys have money like that. They don't need the carnival money. You must not first world country. The economic impact takes care of itself. And like I said, Lauderdale does great. Broward County does great. And this carnival season just brings families together. It's a loss. You know what I mean? He's trying to say something. Receiving the keys with a grateful heart, Machel really looked like the happiest man alive. I'm very proud to receive this honor. Playing a role for so long, as they say, are too young to soca, to being now family lele. He said, thank you very much to the City of Lauderdale for this honor. I would like to thank the entire committee, commissioners, and heads. Machel told the audience of hundreds in the stands that regardless of the island you're from, this is our culture. The idea is one Caribbean. Let's be proud of our islands. Let's be proud of what we display in the world as total joy and happiness. Our music, our food, our dance, and our people. Singing a cappella, the song, the soca giant continued. You see me, I's a man, love to play, love to jam. Oh, you see me, I's a man, Miami, I'm so happy with this key in my hand, and I don't have no tie. So salute. Something that we must celebrate. As you prepare to go on the road for Carnival Sunday, October 13th, Machel urged everyone to remember fellow West Indians who may live in parts of Florida affected by Hurricane Milton. Let's put our money where our mouths are. Let's help those in need. Please be safe this Miami. This Carnival, please be safe this Carnival, Miami. I love you. So it's thing to celebrate, right? We must always, we had to celebrate whenever we achieve and we accomplish greatness. Remember they say the stuff that great men are made of, right? And Machel Montano, undisputed. Whether they like him, we're going into the season soon, right? We're done in mid-October. Carnival season going to come fast. And soon we will be arguing about Machel singing the same song every year, and that ain't good enough for Road March, and you like to perform, and you're overcharging for promoter. And we're going again into that season soon. But we must never forget the stuff that great men are made of. We must never forget to pause and celebrate greatness when greatness happening right in front of the eye, right? We can take a chance and celebrate it while you feel.
Don't have no problems, no problems. Hey. So as long as they call my name, then I will answer. I'm a happy camper, and love is my sponsor. Oh, and as long as I'm man of life, then I will dance up. No time for no anger, I'm smiling with my hands up. Hey, what they calling me? Mr. Happy Papi, Mr. Happy Papi, Mr. Happy Papi. Yeah, what they calling me? Mr. Happy Papi, Mr. Happy Papi, cause I ever happy, yeah. Stress for what? No, vex for what? No, rest for what? No, nothing can get to me. Fret for what? No, regret for what? No, upset for what? No, nothing can get to me. Problems, I don't have no problems. Any issue that I face, I let the Almighty solve them. Life too sweet, I can't complain. The only constant is the change, and we go touch the road again. So as long as they call my name, then I will answer. I'm a happy camper, and love is my sponsor. Oh, and as long as I'm man of life, then I will dance up. No time for no anger, I'm smiling with my hands up. Hey, what they calling me? Mr. Happy Papi, Mr. Happy Papi, Mr. Happy Papi. Yeah, what they calling me? Mr. Happy Papi,
Mr. Happy Papi, cause he ever happy. And you know, they say like big Calypso history months and you're playing soca. Nice. Yes. Oh Lord.
Around 1974, to a mother named Calypso, Junior appeared to be so much more. Over the years he began to grow, but like his grandfather Pacalinda and grandmommy sweet Cariso, the family traits of little boy soca could I never hide me just so. He is the head of the fetting class, heart of the carnival.
Nice.
The jumping legs in the mass, the waistline causing bacchanal. A mother's child feet just cannot hide, and this everybody know. If you look real deep down inside, soca is the soul of Calypso. Let me hear you. Calypso is soca, and soca is Calypso.
Nice.
The Chutney and Brother Raga, also born here in Trinbago. So you don't have to look no further. I'm sure everybody don't know. If one spirit in child and mother, soca in the soul of Calypso.
fantastic Friday. While mommy down south in Skinner Park, soca in tongue in stink and dirty Juve. Say the both of them love to party in almost the very same way. Mommy love to be up in the tent, I she sun jamming on radio. Mommy prefer a sit down event. The son love a truck on the road. Even though things about them might differ, it's one thing everybody know. If you're looking deep down inside, soca is the soul of Calypso. Let me hear you. Padam padam pada, yeah, dam padam padam. Tell a lie, dam padam padam. I tell no lie, padam padam bam. Soca grow up to be a big man. Now almost 50 years old. His grandchildren set out and plan to be famous like him round the world. Looking back at all his years on the things that he made us do, the grands have no doubts and no fears. They'll have the whole world doing it too. Moving to the left, moving to the right. Yes, balancing all night, feeling hot, hot, hot first night. Lingo laying in sheer delight. From tying we head with cloth like Baptist to jumping and waving flag to and fro. Soca is a spiritual bacchanalists, just like Calypso. Let me hear you. Calypso is soca. Soca is Calypso. Sister Chutney and brother Raga, cousin Tassa compelling more. Say you don't have to look no further. I'm sure everybody don't know. If you're listening to sweet soca, you're bound to hear sweet Calypso. By now I'm sure everybody know this Calypso is a metaphor. But be aware also, I too was born 1974. They once called me a Calypso singer, cause I couldn't write songs like Sparrow. Since then I write a lot of hit soca, and now I write a hit Calypso. Let me hear you. Calypso is soca.
Soca is Calypso. You know, all the Calypso is soca and soca is Calypso. You know what I really like as it called? Ram-pa-dam-pa-dam-pa-da. Ram-pa-dam-pa-dam, boy. Nice. Salute to Machel Montano. Calypso is soca, right? We could play anyone in Calypso history, man, right? Are you with me? But Rudder say Calypso music is in a weak spot. That I mean, when somebody like David Rudder talk, you have to listen, right? So from the Guardian, Ryan Bechu, it said, it is how stories are told, because once upon a time, the levels of literacy we have today were not commonplace. All right. What the hell is going on? It is how stories are told, because once upon a time, the level of literacy we have were not commonplace. So Calypso was the main way in which information was passed. So what you're trying to say? Heather McIntosh opening statement at an interview with Sunday Guardian about Tuco and Calypso History Month, right? But Heather McIntosh basically said the people of them couldn't read long time, so they'll listen Calypso for information. It's a rough life. Compose yourself, Corey. It is how stories were told, because once upon a time, the levels of literacy we have today were not commonplace. So Calypso was the main way in which information was passed on from one sector to another. Heather McIntosh's opening statement in her interview with the Sunday Guardian epitomized the importance of the art form in Trinidad and Tobago. In fact, Tuco's tagline is by Calypso, stories are told. It was once called the poor man's newspaper. this is a lot of blues. But McIntosh was quick to add, I think it's because of the proliferation of social media and other things that Calypso doesn't have the same status in society as it used to have at once upon a time. October is Calypso History Month, which gives us the opportunity to reflect on how far the art form has come whilst also analyzing its penetration in society today. The Belafonte dilemma. Calypso can also be traced to the traditions of West Africans in terms of music, structure, and function. According to Tuco, it traces its roots to African traditions of improvised songs, of self-praise and scorn for others. Praise yourself, scorn others. But brought here by enslaved peoples. But from Lord Beginner to Harry Belafonte, Calypso's history can often be a topic of division. Emerald Anthony Phillip, who goes by the sobriquet Brother Valentino, just clap that because it's Brother Valentino, right? Has researched, written, and sung on the history of Calypso music. His song Where Calypso Went is a virtual encyclopedia of the history of the art form. In it, he sings about Calypso's rise from its first recording in 1912 in New York City to Belafonte's style to the influence of Calypso music that Calypso music had on famous singers such as Bob Dylan, Lionel Richie, Rosemary Clooney, and Louis Farrakhan. But Belafonte, who was a famous singer and who was once credited with taking Calypso music internationally, has a complicated legacy in local circles. Dr. Hollis Liverpool, who is more popularly known as Mike the Chalk Dust, sang famously at the Marsh Gras in 1993. When you hear Belafonte and Buster Poindexter, that is not Calypso, that is brandy mixed with water. Sometimes we had to paddle water, any brandy, chalky. No, we could afford the brandy you used to drink. He would win the Monarch that year with his song Misconception. In an interview with the Sunday Guardian, David Rudder said of the Belafonte division, Harry Belafonte had nothing to do with Calypso music. That was a decision from the recording company. He was doing some lyrics by Lord Melody and others in his own style. People always say that Harry Belafonte stole Calypso, but if Belafonte wasn't there, the story of Calypso would not be what it is today. I think he did a great job in terms of the audience he had to deal with. He did it in his own way. I don't understand why he opened his statement by saying Harry Belafonte had nothing to do with Calypso music, but then he ended by saying he did a great job in terms of his audience. I think Harry Belafonte was outright singing Calypso, a few Lord Melody songs well. And I'm pretty sure that if I play Harry Belafonte here, it will get strike, so we go avoid that, right? But look up Harry Belafonte, Lord Melody, and you'll hear a few of the songs, right? Mama Luca Boo Boo was one. For Rudder, Belafonte's chapter in his story of Calypso music cannot be denied. It was the first genre of music to sell 1 million copies. Rudder Valentino's classic Where Calypso Went questions the state of the art form and its falls from grace. When asked about the current state of Calypso, Rudder and Valentino had similar answers. It's losing its essence, it's losing its taste. That's what Valentino said. Meanwhile, Rudder said he's in a weak spot right now. When pressed on what's causing the decline in the art form, Valentino pointed to the modern instruments that are used, which he says doesn't enhance the music. He further pointed out the computerization of programming, as he called it, which was causing Calypso to lose its essence. However, Brother Valentino has always seen the Marsh Gras show as the Achilles heel of the art form. He has criticized the competition in both song and spoken word. Up to this day, the Marsh Gras is Calypso's biggest enemy and biggest problem because the Calypsonians no longer focus on the art, they focus on the pay packet. Before I go further, right, this is something, this is a contentious statement, and you hear it from several proponents of the art, fans. People talk about it, people in support of it, some people against it, right? What I will say is that if you set up the judging a certain way for any type of competition, you're maybe inadvertently rewarding what could be seen as the wrong behaviors. So if the lyrical content and topical had been narrowed down by the judges to a certain amount of political commentary and those types of things, where humorous Calypso lost its sting in the biggest show in Carnival, the Marsh Gras, or a little Pekong lost its sting, or singing about nation building not so powerful. Like when you look at it, you listen to Prowler's song. And which was a Calypso monarch. I want to say 1999. Could be wrong about that. Kids will tell me if I'm wrong or right. But when you look at if they diminish the power, or even songs just to take a little dance, you know, that Calypso starts to get narrowed down into singing about PNM and UNC and so on. And I could see where Valentino would say that the problem is the Marsh Gras, but maybe is the problem might be in terms of how you structure the judging in the Marsh Gras. Maybe I'm starting to think maybe the competition itself mightn't be the biggest problem. The biggest problem is when it narrowed down to one single part of the art form. It's a statement that has found favor with McIntosh. She offered her opinion to Sunday Guardian, saying, I think many Calypsonians focus on the competition rather than on the music. And there, for me, is where the challenge lies. If you're going after the crown, then there are particular things you do or don't do to attain the crown. And I think that belies what Calypso is supposed to be. It's supposed to be commentary, either social or political. It's supposed to be storytelling. That, to a large extent, is not happening because people are focusing on winning the crown. What we are trying to do is get the formula down to win the Monarch. That is a statement you hear all the time about Monarch and Road March. You hear people saying, what is the formula? Meanwhile, Rudder added, if people don't find new ways to express themselves, then it will dissipate. If you listen to young Calypsonians now in the soca arena, they are getting involved in Calypso music too, and that's a good thing. Calypso in the school curriculum, with such concern about the state of Calypso music being expressed by the bards, the common question of why Calypso has not been incorporated in the school curriculum comes up again. Valentino said it's something that they should have on the itinerary for the longest while because Calypso is not entertainment, it's a form of education. I would argue that it's both. He went further to say they will have to put Calypso on the curriculum if they want Calypso to really become alive again and to be the force and voice it once was. Somebody has to pick up the mantle. McIntyre said she was disappointed that Calypso has not been included in the school system. There's more than enough room in the curriculum to allow for Calypso to be introduced. If we look at the SCA exam, which is a big exam the students do at the end of primary school, there's a comprehension element where poetry has to be judged. And I'm saying that we can use Kaiso instead of the poems that you take from some far-off land that has no cultural relevance. I agree with this 100%. I usually talk about it in secondary school, right? Because Shakespeare not no better than Mystic Prowler to me. All these people who write these songs, they're not better than David. All these sort of poem. And I don't know none of these playwrights. None of them not better than a David Rudder or a Machel or a Valentino. I don't find them any better than all rounder. When you see the way a man put together a song, or when you listen to King Austin say, the casa of the cards, you know. If you could say if you could write a song, right? When you talking about who going to guard the guards, the police, the politician, anytime you could put in the casa of the cards, I want to let you feel like somebody who play a lot of card, you play wappy, you play poker. I need somebody to understand the pain that you feel when the casa is dishonest. You know what I mean? The casa is the man on the table who's supposed to deal with cards and make sure that the game go right. You know what I mean? You're playing a game of wappy. The casa supposed to take you away. Who the hell go and guard the casa? If you could say that, you're a literary genius in my eyes. So I agree with some of what's being said in the article here. I always feel it to be a little bit of a... It's hard to hear the best people in the art form and the most powerful people in the art form say bad things about the art form, but I feel like they earn the right for us to listen to whatever they say and wherever their opinion lies. So when I hear Valentino say, boy, they do some them the computerized music, a part of it I feel like, you know, the times had to change and it had to evolve and them types of things. But I feel like we must also listen to them. I do feel like we have a crop of soca artists, Calypsonian and so on. When you look at Voice, Second Star, all of them, and the Calypsonians, Karina Shea, Chucky, Kurt Allen. Kurt Allen is a young fellow, you know what I mean? Around a long time now. But some of the Calypsonians we have in the mix now. They're very, very, very connected to the Valentinos of this world. I saw it again when I went to explain a show. In fact, they're very, very connected. It's not that they disconnected at all from where they come from. So I think if Valentino holding court, everybody going to listen. If David Rudder holding court, everybody going to listen. And we must all, I think we had to pay attention to all the things that bother them about where the art form is going. While we continue to evolve and we continue to innovate, we must always listen and hear where they're coming from. So salute to them. It's good to hear from them in a Calypso History Month in particular. And we always here to explore what we could do to make this thing better, what we could do to make it relevant. One of the things that very, very important in this article is what Heather McIntyre said when she say, with social media and so on, it is difficult, it is different. You know, I was watching the other day, they were asking Keenan Ivory Wayans if you would consider bringing back things like In Living Color. And I saw in interviews, they asked Dave Chappelle, you know, what about Chappelle Show? You wouldn't do Chappelle Show? And one of the things that they said was, well, the skit format and them taking current issues and making joke outside used to work really, really well before social media. because now with social media, everybody have an opinion about something that they could voice while the thing happening. It's showing even done yet. I don't like all the Miami Carnival people. In the Miami Carnival ain't come home good yet. All the Wi-Fi so good over there. So good the LTE is there. All the 5G. How much G all they have? All they posting while all in the carnival and going live in the carnival and them thing. And it's difficult now for anybody who's supposed to capture a time or tell a story or... by the time you come out with it, it's still my experience is the same. Like I come in to talk about issues every Tuesday, and sometimes when I see something, it just beats out in social media. If me and no new take or nothing different to say about it, I just scratch it off the list. It's difficult to keep up with social media, but the truth is that I've done it 199 times. 199. So if we want to show up every week, and we will do it. So while I feel like it's a valid statement, we must find what our space is. I can just say we can't read and write. Okay, now so people can read and write. Is there a different way of bringing it across to people? And because people holding on to the old Calypso, I play some old Calypso in this thing, and it's favorite, something where everybody love, and then sometimes I play tune where much people know, and somebody message me and say, hey, send me that song. Who sing that? So it's not that the interest is not there, but I just feel as though with social media being what it is, we have to adjust the length of Calypso songs. We have to adjust the way they deliver. And if the judges still judging people based on, you must have 4 verse and a chorus and a pre-chorus, if we're still judging people based on that, we probably rewarding the wrong behaviors.
Drum bouncing on the laughter of a melody. Yeah, yeah. And does the rhythm tell you come, 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 come? Does your spirit do a dance to this symphony? Yeah, yeah. Does it tell you that your heart is higher? Oh yeah. And does it tell you that your pain is higher? Oh yeah. Does it wash away all your unlovely? Well, are you ready for a brand new discovery? Calypso, Calypso, Calypso music. Yeah, yeah. Calypso, Calypso, Calypso music. Singing, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, Calypso. Singing, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, Calypso. I say that I am the seed of the ground and tiger now. I got to sing, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, Calypso. It is a living vibration, rooted deep within my Caribbean belly. Lyrics to make a politician cringe, or turn a woman's body into jelly. Shake it, mama, shake it, mama. It is a sweet soca music, Calypso. They could have never refuse it, Calypso. Make you shake like a Shango now, Calypso. Why it is you shaking, you don't know, that's Calypso. Calypso, Calypso, Calypso music. Yeah, yeah. Calypso, Calypso, Calypso music. Singing, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, Calypso. Singing, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, Calypso. I
So here it is now. In the middle of the article, we had a Macintosh on them. Salute to Valentino. Salute to the great David Rudder. All I hear you say Farrakhan. So suppose I tell you, right? Suppose I tell you Farrakhan is a Calypsonian. All you go believe me? All if you're making up thing? Big Calypso history man that will come and lie to all you. They talk about Harry Belafonte and the relationship he had with Lord Melody and several of Melody's songs, little takes from Melody's style and everything I feel was borrowed, used by Harry Belafonte. And I agree with Rudder. I think it would be a great thing for the art form at the time. Imagine Drake. Well, don't imagine Drake now because Drake do that with Popcorn and them in Jamaica and it don't look like he do much to uplift dance, so he look like he's just borrow when he needed. But if you are the biggest artist in the world, let me say Kendrick. Yes, we say. Imagine you take a day not like us in soca and link up with Machel. It will do wonders for our genre of music. So salute to Harry Belafonte. We ain't gonna attempt to play music, but we gonna attempt to play a little Louis Farrakhan. Did you know that Louis Farrakhan is a Calypsonian? Hold on. You know what song in? The voice you're hearing here is a young Louis Farrakhan. Take my word for it, right?
Oh, was a Jumbi Jamboree took place in a New York cemetery. Was a Jumbi Jamboree took place in Woodlawn Cemetery. Jumbis from all parts of the island. Some of them were great Calypsonian. Since the season was carnival, they got together in Bacchanal and they singing back to back, belly to belly. I don't care a damn, I done that already. Back to back, belly to belly was a Jumbi Jamboree. I hear the chorus, back to back, belly to belly. I don't care a damn, I done that already. Back to back, belly to belly was a Jumbi Jamboree. One female Jumbi wouldn't behave. See how she jumping on the grave. In one hand she holding a quarter rum, with the other hand she knocking conga drum. The lead singer start to make his rhyme, while the other Jumbi rattling their bones in time. One bystander had this to say: it was a thrill to see the Jumbi break away. And what they singing? Back to back, belly to belly. I don't care a damn, I done dead already. Back to back, belly to belly was a Jumbi Jamboree. I hear the chorus, back to back, belly to belly. I don't care a damn, I done dead already. Back to back, belly to belly was a Jumbi Jamboree. Left and right things getting sweet. The bystander mash the Jumbi feet. The Jumbi raise his finger to warn. He say, mister, take care, you mash me corn. The funniest thing you could ever see was a Jumbi eating codfish and punji. I never see more Moby or Ginger Bear than at the Jumbi parade which took place last year. And what they singing? Back to back, belly to belly. I don't care a damn, I done dead already. Back to back, belly to belly was a Jumbi Jamboree. I hear the chorus, back to back, belly to belly. I don't care a damn, I done dead already. Back to back, belly to belly was a Jumbi Jamboree.
If we playing Louis Farrakhan, hold on. If we playing Louis Farrakhan, we can't play one and I want you to listen to the voice good. Go and listen to Louis Farrakhan talking now, and then listen to the voice good. This was a song originally done by the Roaring Lion. Just like how Melody do Mama Look a Boo Boo and Harry Belafonte have a version. Roaring Lion do a tune by the name of Ugly Woman. And the Honorable Louis Farrakhan have a tune named Ugly Woman to a remake or a cover of the great Roaring Lion.
If you want to be happy living a king's life, Never make a pretty woman your wife. If you want to be happy, live in a king's life. Never make a pretty woman your wife. Now all you have to do is just what I say, and then you will be jolly, merry and gay. Therefore, from a logical point of view, you better marry a woman uglier than you. From a logical point of view, always marry a woman uglier than you. A pretty woman make her husband look small, and very often cause his downfall. Soon as she married there and then she starts to do the things that will break your heart. And when you think that she's belonging to you, she's calling somebody else to do. Man, from a logical point of view, you better marry a woman uglier than you. From a logical point of view, always marry a woman uglier than you. But if you make an ugly woman your wife, you can be sure you'll be happy in all your life. She will never do things in a funny way to allow the neighbor have the thing to say. She wouldn't disregard her husband at all by exhibiting herself to Peter and Paul. Man, from a logical point of view, you better marry a woman uglier than you. From a logical point of view, always marry a woman uglier than you.
I know they like nice woman, but it ain't too late to take Farrakhan advice. You know, we ain't come here to play one or two of you Farrakhan. You know, we come to play Farrakhan.
My sister has a boyfriend who's really swell, but what he does I am bound to tell.
Yes.
He got a pair of hands to use with nylon grace. He got them roving all about the place. She had to tell him, don't touch my nylon, Johnny. I don't like this carrying on. Take your hand off my nylon, boy. You really got to stop this carrying on. Last night he made her go at her nylon dress. That was the day she wanted to get. He touched a hat, a glove and a stocking too. Then she found what he was trying to do, and she told him, don't touch my nylon, Johnny. I don't like this carrying on. Take your hand off my nylon, boy. You really have to stop this carrying on. While sitting in the cinema, she felt a grip. He made her grab at her nylon slip. She got so mad she had to tell the young man flat, touch everything but not with this and that. And she bawled out, don't touch my nylon, Johnny. I'm tired of the way you're carrying on. Take your hand off my nylon, boy. You really got to stop this carrying on. Now we had to throw him out because he went too far. He made a grab at a nylon bra. He touched it and he feel it and he wouldn't stop, trying to make her resistance drop. And don't touch my nylon, John, like this carrying on.
Farrakhan, your record jumping. Farrakhan is YouTube and all this kind of thing, running nation and so on. Fix your little recordings on them on YouTube. But if you didn't know, when the roads are Daniel Loveless, now you know. Great Louis Farrakhan. So if you want to find Farrakhan music, go and look for on YouTube for the Charmer, right? The sobriquet is the Charmer, and you will see the Charmer as Louis Farrakhan. A little bit of Calypso history. Hey, I leave an holiday, I leave an holiday in true form. Long week, plenty thing to do. Let me line up something for you to play. I think for my episode 200, right? One of the things I've been wanting to do for some time, because when you're talking about Calypso History Month, right? Or Calypso in general, one of the things that we must always remember is that when you compare the long laundry list of Calypsonians, Kaiso artists, soca man, rapso man, wherever you want to count, when you count them in Trinidad, Tobago have a list of heavy hitters that contribute to Calypso and the art form. And in all of its forms that Machel talk about, right? And one of these days we must recognize them. So who knows? Episode 200 could be a complete Tobagonian episode when you look at some of the greatest calypsos. You know, I like to call things the greatest calypso ever written or the greatest calypso you ever hear. Well, next week could be one of them weeks. So in the meantime, while you have a safe week, the sun hot, bad, try and stay out of the sun, get your UV protection, whatever kind of, what is call it thing now, sunblock and so on. If you're in Miami Carnival, keep Miami Carnival in Miami. What happens in Vegas, stay in Vegas. Well, you can't just keep all the things to all yourself, all you come and frustrate people for. As we in Calypso History Month and we celebrating episode 200 and Tobago Carnival is in October, we might as well take in a full Tobago episode. But for now, I want to leave you with this. Early weekend. Early in the week. We're looking forward to next week. It's a holiday at the end of this month, so try not to take too much a day off, too much a time off, too much a sick leave, whatever you have to take, don't take it this week, right? It's a day in between holiday and between, you know, it is go and we take thing and make it a long weekend. That's a leaving all you. Next time I talk to all you, we finally at 200. So let's stay safe and stay good, and I will see you all next week. Bye.